what was the most aspect that struck you the most when working with children?
I think that seeing children in need and in a particular situation where they don't have an option, sort of like as adults, we are like in control to a certain extent with certain situations in our lives or certain decisions that we take, or if we do a mistake, maybe we might have the ability to learn something from that mistake. Obviously, not everyone has that ability, so I'm generalizing. But when it comes to these children, they don't have that control in their life. So they're put in a situation where they didn't want to be there, you know?
To me, the most, because for the listeners, we worked in the same establishment. To me, the most striking fact was, apart from that, obviously, is that they missed out on childhood completely.
Yes.
So they jumped from being born to adulthood, sort of, and they missed very important years in their formation, and they became adults without even realizing, perhaps.
Exactly.
So they missed out on a whole. The childhood chapter is non-existent in this. That struck with me the most.
True, and that you have the ability as a professional that you can give them back that taste. Even simple birthday, celebrating a birthday with a cake and doing a party together. And you see that innocent smile and that happiness, you know. These are small things. Some people might say these are small things, but for people in need, for these vulnerable children, let's call it that way, you're giving them the word, you know, and that gives me satisfaction, both as a person and also as a professional.
And it's a reminder that sometimes we take small things for granted as well.
True.
Birthday celebrations, for example. It's
being with your loved ones.
For them, that's even a bigger challenge, because they are not, they can't see their loved ones when they wish.
Exactly.
So they are put in a difficult situation. Then
I start, after this volunteering experience, I started working as a full-timer with these children. So my career started evolving, let's call it that way. I finished my studies at university back then. And a few months later, I was pregnant. And that was a moment in my life where, because of the situation, how it was working with children with challenging behavior, even for safety reasons, I had an opportunity to work with adults.
Okay.
And that gave me another different perspective about the problems out there and also me as a professional. Prior to working with adults, I always thought that I always want to work with children. No matter what, I want to work with children. Because it was sort of my comfort zone. Back then, I didn't have any other experience. But because of the condition that I was in, I had that opportunity. And it gave me another purpose, another meaning. And I could see mental health problems. I touched with them differently, because experience taught me that mental health difficulties in children and in adults, they are different.
In what ways?
Because in children, it is not as chronic, let's call it that way, as adults. And the challenges are different. So let's say with children, you work more hand in hand with school. You need more structure, more routine. You try to work with the families. When I went to work with the adults, the social support was different. So back then, I'm saying it was around 7 years ago, the shift was these people, most of them suffered loneliness. And as a professional, I was like the advocate for their own needs. So even if they need an appointment, I was a person that I need to stress the important. Listen, this is important that it is done. So family members not always that much involved. Most of them might have been institutionalized, and that I feel that it marks a person, and as a professional you need to work to de-institutionalize that person, to give them a purpose in the community. So the work, it's different than working with a little child. Both have their own needs, but again, on a different level.
Is it something that is because you said it's when dealing with it, it's something which is a little bit more chronic because the condition has been there for longer?
Exactly.